As important as our personal journeys were, because of our collective journey, the Greensboro faith community will never be the same.
Well, I'll let you in on a little trade secret. Clergy people talk a lot about building bridges and building relationships and so forth, and sometimes our practice doesn't quite measure up to that. So we don't often, in our fatigue, take that extra step to build bridges and relationships like we say ought to happen in our community. But this clearly happened on our trip. And it happened, I think, at such a level and in such a depth that it can't help but be a foundation for us working together in the future. I don't know the shape of that, but I would not hesitate for a moment to pick up the phone and call anyone that went on that trip with us to ask them for their help, or to invite them to participate in something, or to accept a challenge, or to work on something together. Wouldn't hesitate for a moment. Beforehand, I would not have done that. So we have lots of open doors that have happened because of that trip, and I mean open doors for substantive kind of community ministry in the future.
Here we are, some 20 ministers with 5 clergy wives and 3 rabbis, and we're sitting in a room about this size, and we're opening up our hearts. We've just experienced, more than we can handle, all from different perspectives, and now we're trying to open dialogue about it. And sometimes the emotions rose. Sometimes I think we would find ourselves experiencing the accumulation of our own struggle. And there was a knowing and being known that was taking place. That I think we really brought that back with us. There was a sort of a common sense of we really do need to get to know each other better. We really do need to look at humanity from God's point of view and the common needs that all people have. I believe that when God moves in a person's heart to do something, that He's doing it in many hearts. But the fact that I've been given the privilege is just I'm just so grateful. And the way I feel I got to show that is to get involved.
Our lives are so busy. We are in the same community with some of us different traditions, certainly different faith. You have Christians, Jews. How do we continue to nurture that? And I think what we did is we laid a foundation in terms of saying, we really can come together and listen to one another and talk with one another and really love one another and appreciate, not just tolerate, but really appreciate who we are.
You don't really know people until you travel with them. And spending 10 and 11 days with folks, eating with them, sharing with them, being able to talk about what we've done and seen, enabled us to communicate and understand on a very different level, I think. So that when Odell Cleveland calls me, or I call Fred Gutman or Ken Massey, we have an understanding that is about a relationship, and therefore once you have that kind of relationship, you can go on and talk about issues in the community.
I think many times we are satisfied with just mere rapport, but this being some 7,000 miles away from our home base, it mandated that we would engage each other. I think that if anything meaningful is going to be accomplished and have lasting impact, there has to be a true measure of trust. Well, you can't build and develop trust if you're not willing to take a risk. I think this trip very much presented the opportunity for risk-taking. I think that there are going to be evidences of its value to come in the next 5, 10, 15 years that we probably didn't anticipate.
Certainly, interfaith relationships between the clergy and the communities they represent are much stronger. What is more important, however, is the very real feeling that the participants had that in the event of a community crisis sometime in the future, the clergy of the group could easily be called upon to mobilize the faith community to face whatever the challenge may be.
In this little trip, you could see the seed being sown. And it's the kind of dialogue and the kind of relationships that are going to need to be built, not only within Greensboro, but within our country and in the world.